Hedera and Algorand have joined forces to create what is called the DREC Alliance. Now, DREC stands for Decentralized Recovery, and we're going to unpack what that means, but simply, they have just created a universal solution to recover your crypto assets in the event of an emergency. So if you lose your password, they got your back. If you lose the device with your password, key phrase, or seed phrase, they got your back. Again, they just did a big press release about this thing. They even got media included. So we got some clips that we're going to go over as well. We're going to unpack this whole situation, guys. It may not be on the surface something major. The price isn't going to pump for these assets 25% overnight. But what they're solving is a problem that everyone is going to have as they come into this space. So it's very interesting. Let's dive right into the details. Entities from across the Hedera and Algorand ecosystems include the HBAR Foundation, Algorand Foundation, Hashgraph Association, Swirl Labs, and the DLT Science Foundation. Alongside industry partners, the Building Blocks and Bank Social are partnering to develop a new interoperability recovery standard, which will dramatically simplify the recovery and adoption of crypto and other assets. The goal is to bring together the Web3 ecosystem to offer an open source industry standard methodology that makes digital asset recovery painless and secure across all wallets. So, on the face of the press release, you had Lehman Barrett, who is the inventor of the hash graph, and then you had John Woods, the CTO for the Algorand Foundation. Now, they did an interview. They did a couple interviews this week, but the one in the article, Mr. Woods states that DREC is an ambitious effort to solve one of the biggest Web3 user interface issues, key ownership. And best of all, it's being done in a way that is project agnostic, meaning it's completely interoperable across the industry. So yes, one of the biggest barriers to the adoption of Web3, to the adoption of cross-border payments, to the adoption of blockchain gaming is the interface. If a new customer comes to your application and they have no idea how to use it, it won't get adopted. We see this every day with brands that we are familiar with. Just for example, YouTube. If YouTube didn't fix their user interface multiple times since 2005, we wouldn't be having this conversation today. So that's the stage that we're at, and that's why I like this development. Now, they ended this article with a technical explanation of what it is. I'm just going to leave it up on the screen here because I want to share with you my initial reaction to all of this. So do you guys remember the relationship I formed late last year with Rider One, right? That technology, this technology is a lot similar to that. Because Rider One used something called social recovery. It included RFID tags that you would give to your friends. And if ever you lost a device, you could go to your friends. They got your data backed up for you. You bring two pieces together. Boom, you got all your stuff back. So that is coming from actually Samir secret sharing protocol technology. That's the foundational application that these newer applications are building on top of. And like I said, it's been around for a minute, but now I'm starting to see that it's entering the space a whole lot more. And we've gone through a lot. And I think the discussion on self-custody is going to be forefront in 2024, especially with topics like Web3, decentralized identity, data ownership. Yeah, I see what they're planning with this. Now, we do have a few clips because, like I said, they went media crazy with this news, and we're going to get to them in a second because the two clips that we have, they're from the CFC Moritz conference. Now, I had to look into this company because this conference is going on. It was January 10th to the 12th, and CFC St. Moritz is an event company. So they focus on blockchain, crypto, DLT related events, right? But what I was shocked to find out was the roster of speakers at this particular conference. Just some names off the top here. Sheila Warren. They got representation from the Virtual Assets Regulatory Authority out in Dubai, A16Z, Digital Dollar Project, CME Group, Animoca Brands, and if you keep scrolling down the list, someone from Ripple is there. Interesting, right? I just think if they're able to bring these types of minds into the same room, just imagine what the conversations are being had. And Hedera and Algorand debuted this news at this conference. So you know the rest of these players, Vara, A16, Digital Dollar Project, Animoca, right? Lehman is even going to mention gaming in the interview, which I'll leave a link to in under this one. But yeah, it struck me as very strange. Curious to see what comes from it. But let's jump into these clips here. The first one, Lehman Barrett, he's going to explain the advantage that this protocol is going to have for other blockchains as well as non-blockchain applications. That's very key. Let's take a listen.
It is not using any blockchain. It can protect any secret. Your keys to any blockchain can protect, but there's no smart contract involved. There's no social recovery involved. There's nothing that involves a blockchain involved. And this is critically needed by the blockchain industry, but it's also critically needed outside the blockchain industry. This isn't just for protecting keys, it's also for protecting passwords. It's also protecting passkey information. Any secret you have, your secret recipe, you can have for your cookies, you can have protected by this system.
Now, we always talk about, especially when we were diving into the blockchain gaming, when we dive into blockchain gaming, the importance of having a user interface that people can easily pick up and use. All right. It's the exact same thing that I said earlier with the whole YouTube analogy. If people can't use it, it's not going to scale. You're not going to make money from it, and it won't become a TikTok or a Facebook or an Instagram or a Google, right? There's steps to it. And we also touched on the Shamir secret sharing technology as well. Now, John Woods is actually going to explain how this protocol is completely different from that, and it leans in on a particular disadvantage that that technology has, and this one actually improves on. Just check it out.
Right, and this is key, pun intended, because social recovery has existed for a while, right? Sure, you can use Shamir secret sharing and shard up a key, whatever. You can give it to people, but ultimately, every single time I've seen this try to be relied upon, it comes to the point of recovery and you're a person short, or someone's machine has died because they suffer from the same fate you did, which is why you need them in the first place. And so this ensuring that things are still hot, things are still there and are still dependable, makes the protocol robust and fit for purpose.
I tell you, I laughed so hard at the key pun. I really did. But overall, guys, I think the introduction of this protocol, it's going to begin a change in the way that investors think about self-custody. If you look at the last 2 years, FTX and every other exchange that brought down, then we had big names in self-custody get hacked, like Ledger. Nobody saw that coming. But these events are changing the way people approach this space. That's a reality that we got to think about. And that is really the problem that Hedera and Algorand came together to solve with this decentralized recovery. They've been working on this for going back about 1.5 years now. I was able to find an episode of Gossip About Gossip, which is Hedera's flagship podcast for updates and partnerships and technical explanations. They do a lot over there. It's pretty good. But I was able to find an episode, season 3, episode 21, where Lehman explains the vision of DREC and what it's going to ultimately lead to. And he describes it as a world of decentralized self-custody or decentralized custody. It's pretty interesting. I'll let him explain it, though.
So decentralized recovery, I think the world is going to go to decentralized custody as part of DREC. This is what the world needs. We absolutely need this for our hot wallets. We need to have decentralized recovery. And for our cold wallets, we need to have decentralized custody. This idea of just storing your 24-word mnemonic in a bank vault is better than nothing, but we can do a lot better than that. So we need to write protocols, and we are talking about, and we are in the process, we actually written part of this, of writing these as actual internet protocols, RFCs for IETF. These are real protocols. We're going to end up joining with other people in other organizations, other ledgers, other blockchains. We want to join together to create some internet protocols. Why? Because when you add a new helper and when you recover your lost secret, that is a way that you are talking to their phone. Your phone's talking to their phone. It should be a standard so that different people can write programs that all interoperate. We want every wallet, every game, eventually every operating system to be able to play as one of your helpers. And they should be different. You use one wallet, you use one operating system, you use one game, and they all have this built in. And so they all can be my helpers. They all interoperate.
So like I said in the beginning, this may not have an immediate impact on price, but they're addressing a problem that everyone is going to have as they enter the crypto space and as crypto starts to really get in the weeds of everyday society, of everyday tools that we use. So with that in itself, I think this is a very powerful development, and I'm definitely interested to see what comes from it, how they're going to build on top of it, and who else is going to join this alliance. Because like they said, it's completely open source. Anyone can implement this. Anyone can take the core code and then create different variations of it that do the same thing. They can brand it however they want, but we'll always know who invented the source code, and that's Hedera. So with that, that's the news, guys. Let me know what you think down in the comments. And as always, you know what I want you to do. Have a great day. Have a prosperous day. And always remember, if the money is digital, so is the hustle.